Music, an international language, the spirit of any culture. And in a home in Fresno, music is passed on from father to son like it has been for generations. Manuel Gonzalez and his son Fernando play Música Mexicana, Mexican music. Music that existed in the Southwest before it was a part of the United States. And music that still exists and grows in the Southwest and the San Joaquin Valley, reinforced by past migrations and new migrations of Mexican people. Migrations of Mexican people in the valley, which began in the early 1900s, brought Mexicans from many different parts of Mexico. Like other countries, the music of Mexico is diverse, and the migrations brought musicians with different styles of music. Musicians like Manuel Gonzalez, who's been at it for 22 years. Gonzalez is the leader of a mariachi, Mariachi Santa Cruz, the type of Mexican music group most recognized by Anglo-Americans. While many Americans have heard or seen a mariachi, they usually know little about how it originated. A mariachi was born in the state of Jalisco, Mexico. The name mariachi comes from the French word for marriage, because during the time of French influence in Mexico, string bands would play at weddings. Like other Mexican music groups, the mariachi consists of instruments native to Mexico, others to Europe. The Spaniards brought the guitar and violin to Mexico, while the bass, known as the guitarrón, and the vihuela, a five-string guitar used for strumming, originated in Mexico. Although instruments were brought and taught by the Spaniards, the Mexican and the Mexican Indian developed a unique style which is the Mexican music we know today. And so we have the mariachi, which plays many different kinds of music, including the famous rancheras and sones. At first, the mariachi consisted only of three instruments, the guitar, violin, and guitarrón. Trumpets were later added. Now the mariachi has become so much a part of Mexican culture that it is now included in the celebration of the Mass in the Roman Catholic Church in Mexico and the Southwest. Manuel Gonzalez and his mariachi will play each Sunday at Mount Carmel Church in Fresno. Mariachi leads Father Finian McGinn into the church. Mariachi accompanies the parishioners in the singing of the hymns. Without a doubt, the mariachi is the best-known Mexican musical group. Like other forms of music, the music of the mariachi is constantly changing. Manuel Gonzalez says many of the groups in Mexico have added more trumpets and violins. In addition, the mariachi has been recorded with a variety of concert instruments and even some percussion. Most of the great singers of Mexico are or have been accompanied by mariachi. The tradition of the mariachi is carried on this side of the border by men like Manuel Gonzalez. Another well-known form of Mexican music combines the blending of voices with intricate guitar work. It is the trio. Trio in Spanish means three, and thus the trio is a three-member group consisting of two guitars and a small guitar called a requinto. The tradition of the trio is carried on in the valley by such groups as Trio Barraqueño. They warm up in a back room before entertaining at Tino Castillo's restaurant in Fresno. With the blending voices and the melodic runs of the requinto, it is the romantic ballads, the boleros, that the trio is best known for. The requinto is another instrument native to Mexico, which requires a different playing technique.
All right, the requinto is played different as the guitar because it plays the melody, you see. Now, the requinto originated from the guitar itself. It's a smaller instrument, though, and it's tuned 5 scales higher than the guitar, than a standard guitar.
You mentioned that there's a different style of playing. Can you show us?
Yeah, sure. Like, you use it to play the melody, to start off with the song, the introduction, that is. Well, it can be played in different manners according to the.
Could you show us some of those? How is it played with his fingers?
Well, all I do is strum the. Instead of strumming down like the regular guitar, you strum down. You bring your fingers up. And you can also use 2 strings.
Obviously, that's not easy to play. Does it take years to learn to play?
It takes a while. Yes, it does. You have to master your finger dexterity. You have to be pretty fast and flexible.
Which trio?
La ilusión de mi anhelo y hubo solo en mi cielo alegría de vivir. Después mi canción.
The trio reached its peak of popularity in Mexico during the 1940s. It was most influenced by the famous Trio Los Panchos, known throughout the world.
Que tu vida era mía y que tú me Después mi canción se hizo triste, lloré porque ya te perdí.
The thing that makes it different is that you can sing or play different types of songs, and it's easier to handle. You can play the romantic song, you can play the rancheras, you can play huapangos, this type of thing.
How much work do you put in?
Well, the way it stands now, we really don't work at it as much as we should. When we first originated the trio, we used to put in, say, approximately fellows about 20 hours per week or something like that, or even more.
Mi amor, el tiempo te dirá y yo te adoraré una eternidad. Te quiero y no puedo negarlo, si es preciso gritarlo. Sin cesar.
People of many backgrounds have migrated to the San Joaquin Valley, attracted by the work of the abundant harvest. In the last 30 years, among the many Mexicans who have migrated to the valley are those from Texas and the northern states of Mexico. Tejanos and Norteños, they are called. The migration of these Mexican people has brought another type of Mexican music to the valley, a regional music called La Norteña. Música norteña, translated literally, means music from the north, or from the northern part of Mexico. It is a music that is sometimes simple, but also lively, happy, and full of feeling for life. It is a music to be danced to. Música norteña is exemplified by a four-piece group called a conjunto, which centers around the accordion. Backed by a bass, guitar, and drums, it is the accordion that carries the spirit of the music. Here a conjunto, Los Hermanos Pizaña, plays at the Sanger Ballroom, which regularly features norteña groups. Música norteña, as it is known today, is believed to have developed at the turn of the century in northern Mexico and was brought into the United States by the mass Mexican migration into Texas. As many Tejanos and Norteños moved into the valley, the music appeared locally. There is some disagreement about how the accordion was brought into the music. Manuel Peña is a musician and a Fresno State University student studying Mexican music.
Well, there are two theories as to where the accordion came from. Some people say that the French introduced it via northern Mexico, and some people say that the Germans introduced it, the Germans who settled in southwest Texas. I subscribe to the view that the Germans brought it into southwest Texas because there are only two peoples who use the accordion to any extent at all, and those are the Germans and the Italians. So I agree with the theory that the Germans brought it into Texas primarily.
What kind of things do they sing about in La Música Norteña?
Well, they sing about everyday life, things that occur to all of us, about life and death and sorrow and happiness.
How about this song you're playing here?
Well, this song is a representative of what we call the corrido, which is a ballad. And the corrido is the folk people's way of expressing the way they feel about life. This particular corrido here is about a man by the name of Jacinto Treviño who got into a brawl with the Texas Rangers. A lot of the corridos in Texas deal with this Chicano-Anglo conflict.
Música norteña has become an everyday thing in the valley. It can be heard on Spanish-language radio stations. Jesse Ortiz, known as El Jesse to his listeners, specializes in the norteña sound during his afternoon program on Radio KLIP in Fowler.
Buenas tardes a todos ustedes que apenas ahorita se acaban de entonizar con su radiodifusora KLIP.
El Jesse says the Tejanos and norteños who brought and love the music are to be found everywhere.
That's Mexico. That's baby Mexico, we call it. And Cutler, Orosi, and Wheatley, and Fresno, and Madera, Malaga, just all over. They just listen to me all over. And the reason I'm saying this is you're asking me where they live. I'm just taking it by the phone calls and letters that I receive from those little towns in those areas.
There's some people who make fun a lot, of the music from the northern part of Mexico. They say it's repetitious. How would you describe La Norteña, the music as we know it?
Well, música norteña is something that actually, like I said before, when I first started here, I didn't like it, but it grows into you. You end up loving the music, and when you're playing it, regardless of what you're doing, you've got that little beat in you, you're moving around, and you feel free because of the music, nothing else.
The conjunto is changing. The new generation has replaced the accordion with an organ and horns.
The people who are playing organ now many of them are people who were playing accordion before, but the organ, thanks to the rock groups, has become very popular, and a lot of people who used to play accordion are abandoning the accordion in favor of the organ. But all they're doing is really playing the same style that they play the accordion, transposing it to the organ.
So basically it's the same music?
Basically it's the same music, although I wish they would stay with the accordion because I think it expresses more our culture, or at least Chicano culture as I see it.
Mexican music also is found in the form of the orchestra, La Orquesta. Mexican music has been influenced by contemporary instruments like the electric organ, bass, and guitar. A good example is the Beto Garcia Orchestra of Clovis. The six-member group combines traditional brass, trumpets, and sax with the electric organ, piano, guitar, and bass. Due to the economics, most Mexican orchestras in the valley are small, like Beto Garcia. However, big bands have been popular in Mexico for years. The big Latin bands like Pérez Prado and Sonora Santanera have been noted for their brass and Latin rhythm sections. Although Garcia's group only uses a drummer, other Mexican orchestras use the traditional rhythm section of congas, bongos, and timbales. The rhythm section is more an integral part of the Puerto Rican and Cuban bands on the East Coast. However, despite the extensive percussion, Garcia's group still plays typical tropical music, like the cumbia.
You find some of the orchestras that are play nothing but corridos, you know, although they hold all these instruments like a regular orchestra do, and they play nothing but corridos. Then you find the other type of orchestras that are playing nothing but tropical type of music.
You're talking about instruments. What instruments are you talking about?
Well, usually the trumpets, the saxes, the electric bass, and so on and so forth, you know, like the Rey Camacho style, Santanera, and what have you.
So you see the same instruments that you may see in an American orchestra?
Right, basically the same, yeah.
The orchestra also is known for its boleros, which the trio plays so well. Garcia says the orchestra can and does play all types of music.
You see a lot of the orchestras playing American music, for example, back from the 40s, the type. And you see them playing some of the mariachi, the corrido type of music, and huapangos, and some rock. You know, the kind of versatility seems to be the in thing nowadays.
How about your group? How would you characterize what you play?
Well, we are versatile. We play anything to please the people, really. We play just about everything, corridos, cumbias, American music, oldies and goodies, and what have you, the whole thing.
Probably the best-known Chicano orchestra in the valley is the Rey Camacho Band. The band plays anything from rock to tropical music to contemporary norteño music. Each year, the band goes on the USO circuit, entertaining American GIs abroad, including in Europe. Camacho's band, which uses a traditional Latin rhythm section, has cut a number of records. It has a big following in Arizona, Texas, and New Mexico, where it makes regular appearances.
Toma la pelota, llama Reyes, y un medio centro para allá, y luego la recoge Bonifacio, y un medio centro para acá, y ya que la recibe Canturelli, luego la coloca para allá, toma nuevamente Rey Camacho y ¡gol! Anulado, anulado, anulado.
Mexican music is being passed on from father to son, but the schools in the valley are playing a role, though not as large as many Chicanos would like. The Roosevelt High Marimba Band is well known in the valley. Similar classes have started at other high schools such as Selma and Fresno City College and Fresno State University. It is Mexico, the mother country, that keeps Mexican music thriving in the San Joaquin Valley. Its proximity continues to reinforce Mexican culture in the Southwest, and that includes the music. Artists from Mexico make regular appearances in the Southwest and the Valley, bringing new influences and trends. The Spanish-language radio stations continue to broadcast that music. This is not to say that the influences of American society have not influenced the young. Many Chicano youths have forsaken the traditional Mexican music of their fathers for American rock. Manuel Gonzalez's son, Fernando, not only plays in the mariachi, he plays the organ in a rock group called the Fascinations. And the father of Latin rock guitar player Carlos Santana is the mariachi. Despite the influences, it's unlikely that Mexican music, Música Mexicana, will disappear from the Valley. It will continue to live side by side with other forms of music. It is a music of people who love to sing about what they feel. Music of a people in love with life.